Welcome to Potion Sword Run. It's a sad day for Xbox fans. It's a sad day for me. Xbox has slashed games and studios. I blame Microsoft and their corporate greed and the way of doing things. You know, if Xbox was its own entity, I don't think it would behave the way that it does now. But I understand it's a corporation and corporations are gonna corporate. Everwild is canceled or put on the shelf. Everwild was a game from Rare, announced a long time ago, like 5 years ago, not even long time ago, when the Xbox first was announced. Back then I made a video about it when they released the first footage of it. And the way the devs were talking about it, it seemed to me that they had no idea what the gameplay or direction was gonna be. I mean, they had the art style, they had all that going for it, it looks beautiful. But even then, the way they talked about it, I could tell that they didn't know what the game was gonna be. And it was already 3 years in development by that time.
Everwild. There's no denying that the game is beautiful. It looks gorgeous. It looks like a work of art. But the more I hear about it and the more I see of it, the more I get worried. Why? Well, the reason is, it seems to me that Rare doesn't quite know what the game is yet. And that is the reason why we haven't seen any gameplay of Everwild. And the more I read coming out of Rare, the more I fear I might be right. According to Rare studio head Craig Duncan, Everwild is a very unique game, set in a natural and magical world. Cool, I like that. And he continues, and I quote, "We learned a lot from Sea of Thieves. At its heart, we love the idea of Sea of Thieves and players creating stories together. I think with Everwild, Lewis O'Connor and her leadership team are really passionate about giving players a world that they can just lose themselves in. You know, a lot of nature feels magical. So the notion of what does it mean to nurture a world? What does it mean to be in nature? And this is where I get worried." And I quote, "Part of the reason we haven't talked a lot about Everwild is because we're still feeling a lot of these things out. We're still playing around with gameplay ideas." And just reading that gives me the feeling that Rare has created a shell of a game. Reminds me of what Sea of Thieves was when it first launched, but probably even worse. At least Sea of Thieves was a pirate themed game, and at the end of the day, even though it was shallow to begin with, we were still pirates doing pirate things. Everwild is a brand new IP that is weird as hell, to tell you the truth, because from the outside looking in, we just don't know what we're going to be doing in the game. And the notion that they're still playing with gameplay ideas this far along in development baffles me, because shouldn't gameplay be one of the first things that you cement while you're building the game? And sure, it could evolve over time, but shouldn't you have a general idea how your game is going to play so you can actually make a game?
And Xbox fans out there, some subscribers or people that watch the videos got mad at me saying that I was talking shit. And no, it's like I could just tell by the way they were talking and describing the game. Eventually, they showed it again. I thought maybe they're gonna deliver.
Rare promises that Everwild will be like something the world doesn't have and hasn't seen before. Those are bold words given the thousands of games we played. About a year ago, I made a video talking about Rare's next game, Everwild, and how the developers kept giving off the impression that they didn't quite know what the gameplay would end up like. With each new interview they gave, it sounded like it was actually not a focus of the game at that point. Given how games must be worked in collaboration with different departments from pre-production to production and post-production, one would think that gameplay would be worked in from the ground up for a clear picture of how you intend your game to actually play. Otherwise, we end up with games at launch as a work in progress, like Sea of Thieves, or worse, games actually never get done, like Anthem or Marvel's Avengers. But recently, lead developer James Blackwell gave a description of Everwild in his LinkedIn profile, and he described it as something the world doesn't have and hasn't seen before. And sure, that's something that every developer usually says, especially when they want to hype up their game, which is always, but rarely do they ever deliver. But looking back at Rare and all the games they make, they do have a track record of innovation. Games like Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo, which had graphics and a style before its time. Games like GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64, which was a trendsetter, a reason why it's always in conversation when we talk about the greatest shooters of all time. To Conker's Bad Fur Day for the Nintendo 64, a bold, adult-themed game full of foul language, crude humor, and deadly fun couch multiplayer on a console with the proud reputation of being family friendly. And even to one of my personal favorites, Viva Pinata, a severely underrated game, maybe the most misunderstood, but it was one of those games that has more than meets the eye. Sure, it was a garden sim that involved pinata animals, but their strategy, exploration, trial and error, progression, and not only was it fun, but graphically, still holds up for a game that was made for the Xbox 360.
And so it was put on the shelf. And so that is heartbreaking because I wanted that game. And like, it just looked so beautiful. Like, I thought maybe like, Rare. I thought it was like some Rare magic going on there. Viva Pinata is one of my favorite Rare games. And it kind of reminded me of that art style, but better. But, obviously a different game. But it just felt like that Rare magic was back. And now it's gone. But that's not all. PerfectDark is canceled. Like again. It's like all these Rare franchises are just wasted. Wasted. Everwild, that whole time in development, wasted. Putting Joanna Dark on the shelf, canceling her game, all that time they've already shown, wasted. All the Rare franchises are wasted by Microsoft, man. And it hurts as a gamer. Now, we know that, Microsoft butchered Rare when they first made them work on Kinect and all those stupid games.
Sure, Rare has a spotty record when it comes to the Xbox One and everything they try to do with Kinect. It's easy to blame Rare for that, but in reality, that was Xbox's fault. They were the ones that pushed Kinect, put all their eggs in that basket, and even bundling it, making the system $100 more expensive than it should have been.
They thought that they can replicate what the Wii was doing, trying to chase trends instead of letting the studios deliver on the magic they can deliver on. Like Banjo-Kazooie, wasted. Conker, wasted. Like, why did you even buy Rare in the first place? For these games. For the memories and magic that they delivered. But even though, Joanna Dark, PerfectDark was not, made by Rare, they created a brand new studio for this. And, wasted. It's disappointing. But it makes sense, at least for Everwild to be put on the shelf because, all this time in development and they still didn't even know where the game to go and they had nothing to deliver with. Microsoft probably saw it and be like, that's not gonna do it, But I just don't understand PerfectDark. I really don't. The preview that you showed us, it looked good, Maybe what? If it wasn't gameplay, if it was fake, then maybe I can understand why they shelved it. But it's just very disappointing as an Xbox fan. Now, I definitely understand why they're doing it. They have to focus on the studios that are doing great, the studios that are delivering, and not these studios that are wasting time. And it sucks to say that a lot of studios out there do waste time and resources. They take a lot of these investors' money for granted and end up delivering crapola. So I can understand when the publishers start slashing, It's just the nature of the beast, but it sucks when it happens and these games get canceled, right? And then just because they get rid of them like that? I mean, start new projects, finish projects, get new people in. I don't know. It's just, I'm all over the place right now because this shit just sucks, man. It kind of makes you think, if you should even be rewarding this type of behavior from these companies. Like if I should keep on supporting Xbox in the future, or if I should just cut my losses now. But then again, like what, go to PlayStation and what they have? Nothing either? Like a closed ass ecosystem? I guess I can learn how to play on PC, get a PC, and get all PC centric. But then again, I'll be using Windows. I guess I'll be using just Steam. See, I like Xbox. I like their ecosystem. I just don't like the corporate side of them at all. That's where I just, we clash. But when it came to like the artistic style, like when they were developing the Xbox 360, and how they partnered up with a design firm, and I think in Japan somewhere, I don't know the city, and also a firm in San Francisco, combining that California and Tokyo feel together. And they came out with the 360 and they had that like indent going in. And the reason why is because they wanted to emphasize like you were taking that breath in. And, that's the type of thinking. And even though it's like, artistically foofy and stuff, it's like, that's what I want, man. I want them to take risk. I want them to be bold. I want them to deliver on their promises. And I want them to just think outside the box. But Microsoft, being the way that it is, doesn't let them. I feel sorry for all the people that are going to lose their jobs, because I can understand how it brings anxiety and fear, especially when you have no income coming in. It's just a sad, sad day for gaming. It's a sad, sad day for Xbox fans. It's a sad day, man. It's a sad day. But even though this is bad news, and even though this is sad news, there's gonna be light at the end of the tunnel. We have a bunch of video games to play. The sun is shining, the birds are singing. It's not the end of the world. It's just a cautionary tale of what corporations do to the hobbies that people love. In this case, our video games. That's gonna do it for this episode. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Remember, always be kind to yourself and enjoy your life. And I'll meet you right there. Peace.